Hey everyone, happy Monday. I want to take a minute today just to share a leadership thought with you from John chapter 4, verses 1 and 2. Let me read it and then we'll dig into it. Jesus knew the Pharisees had heard that he was baptizing and making more disciples than John, though Jesus himself didn't baptize them. His disciples did. Now, did you catch that? I know when I read that, a dozen different thoughts ran through my mind, and I just tried to picture the scene. I mean, people coming in the droves wanting to be baptized by Jesus, and when they showed up, all of his disciples were doing the work. Now, we know Jesus is the ultimate leader, and he had business to tend to, and that business was his Father's business, which ultimately was making disciples. And we have to understand that that's our role as a leader as well, to make disciples. And what we know about Jesus is that because he lived in the flesh, he dealt with a lot of the same challenges, the same expectations, the same issues that we face. And so he can identify with what you're going through, what you're facing. And that's comforting as a leader. You know, a few years ago, I went to a baseball game in Houston. I was going to watch my Cardinals beat the Astros yet again. And when we got to the game, I mean, I'd paid good money for the tickets. We drove an hour and a half to get there, and we got to the game. Albert Pujols was not in the lineup. Now, he wasn't injured. He wasn't sick. They just decided to give him a rest for the night. Now, I got to tell you, as a fan, going to that one game, I was pretty disappointed. I came to see Albert Pujols. I came to see the best player in baseball. I came to see my favorite player. And so to show up and for him to not be playing on, standing on first base and batting third in the lineup was pretty frustrating to me. But the Cardinals organization, they couldn't be fixated just on that one moment. They had to see the big picture. They had to have a 162 game season in their mind. They had to have the postseason on their mind. They had bigger fish to fry than just that one game against the Astros. Plus, I mean, you can beat the Astros with your hands tied behind your back, right? Folks in Houston and Beaumont area. Anyway, just saying. But I wonder if on that day and when Jesus was allowing his disciples to baptize, that maybe he felt some of those same pressures, the pressure to perform, the pressure of other people's expectations, the pressure to do it all himself because I mean, after all, he's Jesus, he's the hero, he's the leader, and that's what everybody's coming and looking for. And I would imagine that in that moment, Jesus had some decisions to make. Am I going to be governed by people's expectations? Am I going to be ruled by the pressure to perform, or am I going to have vision? Am I going to see the big picture here? I'm sure that folks were probably a little frustrated here. I came to be baptized by Jesus, the Messiah, and here it is, Peter, the inconsistent fisherman, that's baptizing me. But Jesus got it. He got it that his ultimate goal in the moment of amassing crowds was to still focus on raising disciples, to equip and empower those that are closest to him. And you know what? That's our mission as leaders, to equip and empower those around us to participate in the business of making disciples. Now, there are a lot of pressures. Look, I know the pressures you face. And it's really easy, if you're not careful, to succumb to those pressures. But I want you to understand, your ultimate purpose is not to please everybody else, not to make everybody happy. Your purpose is to make disciples. And that requires you to occasionally take a step back and put ministry in the hands of the students and other leaders around you. Now look, they're not always going to do it right. At times it's a whole lot less stressful to do it yourself than to give it over to them. But remember your goal. See the big picture. Don't give in to the pressures. Really lead and watch what God does around you. I love you and hope to see you in the near future.